Thank you, Mr. President. I beg to move that a bill entitled An Act to Amend the Supreme Court of Judicature Act, Chapter 4, Number 1, and the Criminal Procedure Act, Chapter 12, Number 2, in relation to the place and time for sittings of a court and to provide for related matters, be now read a second time. Mr. President, I am pleased to report to the House for the consideration of this Honorable Senate the Miscellaneous Provisions Administration of Justice Bill 2023, which seeks to do a very straightforward and eminently commendable couple of amendments to amend the Supreme Court of Judicature Act, Chapter 4, Number 1, and the Criminal Procedure Act, Chapter 12, Number 2, in relation to the place and time for sittings of a court and to provide for related matters. The bill before us was passed, Mr. President, with an amendment in the other place on Friday, 12th April 2024. As the Senate is aware, Mr. President, this government has partnered with various criminal justice stakeholders to ensure the more efficient running of the criminal justice system, as indeed we have just been discussing in relation to the other bill that has just been passed. This has led to the introduction of an amendment to various pieces of legislation to ensure that the appropriate framework is available to ensure the smooth operations of criminal matters both at the district and Supreme Court levels. Significantly, we recall, Mr. President, the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020. And if I may indulge this House with my own personal philosophy, wherever there is a cloud, there is a silver lining. And one of the silver linings that we have inherited out of the pandemic was the fact that it challenged us to operate differently. And one of the ways in which we operated differently was, in fact, pioneered very actively by the judiciary, who broached that, who accepted the challenge with vigor and saw the transformation of court hearings relative to their location and format. Court hearings moved to online platforms, seeing virtual attendance of participants, including judicial officers, witnesses, and accused persons. So that today, in 2024, having, under this government, successfully withstood the challenges of the pandemic and are a healthier people, we now find ourselves with digitalized solutions which have remained with us that came out of the pandemic. And consistent with the government's mandate to continue the drive to full digitalization, we now have the proclamation of the Administration of Justice Indictable Proceedings Act, which has introduced significant changes of which we have already spoken. And therefore, against that background, we have to look at the existing legislation that we are here to amend today, Mr. President, and recognize that it does not adequately cater to those changing circumstances. This bill is one that is rooted in pragmatism to ensure that court resources are optimized, to enhance the flexibility for court proceedings by incorporating both virtual and hybrid appearances and designating more generalized regions rather than specific locations for filing complaints and hearing of matters. Importantly, Mr. President, where the specific location of an offense is unclear or where the utilization of discretion fosters judicial fairness, the bill also grants to the Director of Public Prosecutions the authority to file indictments at any designated registry of the Supreme Court for the Criminal Court Division in North Trinidad, South Trinidad, and in Tobago. Permit me, Mr. President, to take you through the short clauses of the bill. The bill contains 4 clauses. The first bill provides for the short title. First clause. The second clause provides for the commencement of the Act to come into operation on a date fixed by the President by proclamation. Clause 3 provides for amendments to the Supreme Court of Judicature Act. The proposed amendment to the Supreme Court of Judicature Act, Mr. President, addresses the critical issue with the existing legislation, which requires currently that all trials are to be held within the boundaries of San Fernando, Port of Spain, and Scarborough. It goes without saying that in this current technological climate and with the heavy urbanization of these areas, this significantly confines and limits the available spaces that the judiciary is permitted to operate within for any court function, or court expansion. Put simply, the existing legislation excludes court spaces outside of the respective city boundaries. This presents spatial challenges. It also presents security challenges, as we are all aware of the risks posed to the general public in transportation of high-risk prisoners, if so required, into heavily urbanized areas for their court appearance and court attendance. But more importantly, the change that we are asking this August House to embrace today, Mr. President, by broadening the areas in which the court has the flexibility to operate physically and enhancing the court's capacity to deal with virtual and hybrid discharge of justice, we are taking the courts to the people. Mr. President, having regard to the urgent need for the judiciary to utilize all the resources at its disposal, as well as supporting the convenience and safety of judges, judicial officers, staff, accused persons, juries, and witnesses, the proposed amendments are not only crucial but necessary for the judiciary of Trinidad and Tobago. The proposed amendments are in line with the procedural changes within the judiciary that are in place and ongoing, and are crucial for supporting and maintaining the administration of justice throughout this proud republic. Permit me to expand on what this bill proposes to establish, Mr. President. Clause 3A of the bill amends Section 74(1) of the Supreme Court of Judicature Act, replacing the phrase Port of Spain, San Fernando, and Scarborough with the broader North Trinidad, South Trinidad, and Tobago. Clause 3B of the bill, Mr. President, amends Section 74 of the Supreme Court of Judicature Act to clarify that North Trinidad, South Trinidad, and Tobago, stated in the existing Section 74(1), will have the exact meaning as Section 3 of the Criminal Procedure Act, which already identifies these zones according to the cities, boroughs, and municipalities in Trinidad and in the island of Tobago. Mr. President, Clause 4, amendment of the Criminal Procedure Act. Clause 4 seeks to amend Section 2 of the Criminal Procedure Act by inserting indispensable solutions. For example, in line with the current initiatives and practices of the judiciary, phrases such as the establishment of the Virtual Access Customer Centers, VACCS, VACs, phrases such as hybrid mode and virtual mode have been introduced in Clause 4A to reference the conduct of proceedings before the court in part virtual and electronic means. Mr. President, this inclusion was considered necessary as the existing outdated legislation failed to address the current measures undergoing in the judiciary to digitize the courts. Clause 4A similarly introduces other phrases such as in person to distinguish the conduct of a hearing in a court building in the physical presence of the judge, master, district court, judge, or registrar who is adjudicating. Permit me to mention, Mr. President, that Clause 4A additionally provides for the clearer definitions of North Trinidad, South Trinidad, and Tobago. So we now know that North Trinidad has been defined to consist of the city of Port of Spain, the boroughs of Arima, Chaguanas, and Diego Martin, and the municipalities of San Juan Lavantil, Tunapuna, Piarco, and Sangre Grande. South Trinidad will consist of the city of San Fernando, the boroughs of Point Fortin and Siparia, the municipalities of Cuba, Tabaquite, Talparo, Pinal Debe, Princestown, and Miaro Rio Claro. Lastly, Tobago would encompass the entire island of Tobago. Mr. President, Clause 4B amends the Criminal Procedure Act by repealing Section 3 and substituting a new Section 3, which provides for changes to the law on the following: place, time, and modes of trial in North Trinidad, South Trinidad, and Tobago; attendance of judges and judicial officers for the hearing of cases virtually, in person, or in hybrid mode; the designation of a place for a registry of the Criminal Division of the High Court; and practice directions for proceedings, documents, or any media to be filed at the registry. Mr. President, this significant amendment will empower the Chief Justice to appoint places and times for trial by order, providing for an exception that a judge or judicial officer may hold sittings at times and places other than those appointed by order of the judiciary where deemed necessary and in the interest of justice. Clause 4C, Mr. President, beg your pardon, repeals and replaces Section 4 of the Criminal Procedure Act. That clause provides that where in any written law reference is made to Port of Spain, San Fernando, or Scarborough as the place where criminal trials are heard, they are deemed now to be a reference to North Trinidad, South Trinidad, and Tobago, respectively. It is clear, Mr. President, that these amendments to these pieces of outdated legislation in that regard are a response on the part of this government and indeed driven by the engaged stakeholder consultation which we continue to have with the judiciary to the evolving societal needs and to the unforeseen strictures of the previously existing legislation. It is necessary to remove those limitations with respect to the use of court spaces. As mentioned previously, Mr. President, those proposed amendments are pivotal in supporting the judiciary in its mandate of furthering the principle of the efficient administration of justice and the ease of access to justice for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Significantly, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, I beg your pardon, the proposed amendments will address organizational and divisional needs of the judiciary, support case flow management, and case management strategies. Importantly, the bill contemplates the change of case flow management as seen through our Administration of Justice Indictable Proceedings Amendment Act 2023. There is already an increased flow of matters moving from the district courts to the high courts, and it is of critical importance that with the increase in filings, suitable accommodation across North Trinidad, South Trinidad, and Tobago are permitted, as well as allowing for the utilization of virtual hearings. I would like to assure the citizenry of Trinidad and Tobago and this Honourable House that this government is committed to continuing to bring effective and necessary legislation to this Parliament, which upholds the principles of the administration of justice and separation of powers with an interoperability of collaboration between the arms of government, and to uphold access to justice, equality, fairness, and the integrity of all the citizens of this country. Mr. President, I beg to move.